Okay, mate. Let's have a look here. Kernel and SYN. Yep. I really do like Kernel. I mean, there's something about it. There's something very nice about it. I mean, there's a bit of consolidation here. Of course, the new coin, but the new coin has dropped. It started to flip green again. After the drop because it's a new coin. Um, the problem is when new coins on these. I mean, you can see what the new coin has done. It's obviously a long way down from its highs, and we're down here, so it's still technically green. But there's different ways to try and trade this. That's the 3 month candle here. There's different settings we can choose for that, but basically it's a 3 month, or it's still in its first quarter, so it's the same on a quarterly setting or whatever. There is something about it though, I have to say. I just want to flick through. I'm just trying to see if there's anything here. Nice consolidation here. Quite a lot of times when you get that consolidation, let's look at more time frames though. But when you get that consolidation, quite often you can get a break up. It's just about timing that and have the patience. Like there's a 2 week, which is very interesting. A new 2 week has just started. Is it going to be this 2 week, or does it need another 2 week consolidation? That's the good question. This unfortunately kind of missed that. Very nice bullish stop hunt there that allowed for this 2 week pump up. How much is that? What sort of percent roughly? About a 50% move. Yeah, it's not the easiest to try and find an entry in it because obviously, like if you look at the weekly chart here, it's just been stuck. A very, 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 very tight range. But these very tight ranges, there's a way to trade them, and we talk about it quite a lot in the group, and that will be to do with volume. I'll probably better to go down to smaller time frames, but we can adjust the volume. Well, you can see here where it is. We're right on it right now, and actually trying to break out about it above it. So trying to get long above that is probably the ideal place. Now I need to go to even smaller time frames, but at least we know now where the volume is and where to be watching. It is also above this yellow moving average, the 9 EMA. But what I want to check as well is sentiment, just to see if it can get. So you can see there, it's basically just underneath these candles is where the volume is at. The main volume is at across the board. So that is good if it's trying to break up from that. It does look like it wants to break up from here. It's up 1% today. That's the daily chart we're on. Yeah, this looks like it wants to move up, and I would suggest that this can be a long, as long as price is above there, right? So as long as price is above here, there, if you can see that, then this looks good. You could actually get long right now, and as long as it stays above here, that's not a bad position, but I'm not sure how much risk that is yet. Yeah, it's 4%, 4.5%. There's other way to play it. You could play half a position here, for example, and then it becomes 2% risk as long as it's holding above that. If you start to get strength, you could add into the strength. Or on a new day, of course, which is in about 5 hours. Yeah, 5 hours time. If there's a dip down in here, you could look to trade that on a new day. Dips down in here could be buys to see if this range can break up. There's a lot of liquidity up here. It's been consolidating, and it's been rising. Like if you watch the pattern here, it's kind of rising here into a bullish ascending triangle. It's not the best pattern. I mean, I'm calling it a bullish ascending triangle, but you could put almost any triangle on it. It depends what we look at it. Look at the bodies here. Um, the bodies here kind of suggest it's a bit of a there's a bit of a resistance here. Could never get above there. Couldn't get above there. Couldn't get above there. Couldn't get above there. Yes, the wicks were all up there, but there's a bit of a resistance in here, which would come from the previous order block resistance in here, most likely. Well, actually, yeah, I didn't even look across. Look where it was across. I didn't even look at that, and that's where it's coming from, all the way through here. So if it starts to break that level, you could also be watching the order book if you're looking to take this trade, and if you can see a flutter of buys coming in trying to break that level, you might see some big orders. That them orders are lifted. There might be some big orders in the order book preventing this from moving higher. If you see those orders lifted, then it might be free to move to the upside. If you're watching this and you're trying to take a bigger trade, you could also watch that order book as well. Otherwise, you can be well, possibly if it dips down and you start to flip green again, you could look to get long on that with a stop below the new daily low. So that might be another way to play it. It is interesting, that consolidation like this coming in. Of course, there's always the chance that, I have to say it, that the market this could fail, and then you get a big dump. Okay, I have to say it because there's no point hyping things up like here. Okay, so you see this consolidation, it fails, and then you get the big dump. You always need to be on guard if you see failure. So far, there's no failure, but watch for a failed move. A failed moves create fast moves in the opposite direction. Okay, so but there's something interesting about here. The move up the consolidation. It's still green. I know that's a bit of a fake green, but new coins can run, and there is a lengthy consolidation here that is looking. There's something interesting about it. And also, very last thing on this coin, we did dip below. We did dip below here, right? Look at the pierce below the large volume. Okay, so that was obviously the buy, but pierce below the large volume. That gives another level of support right here. That's your second level of support. Sorry, and there's another level of support here, right here at the stop point. So there's two levels to work with, but we are now above this large daily red volume. I mean, we could just go across to here. It did pierce below at first, but the buy was below the volume, right? And you see this red volume here. This red volume here, price came below it, and that was a bit of a buy down there. I know it wasn't that easy, but if you've seen this doji candle when you're down there, understanding below this volume, then you get that bounce back up. And something similar type, similar move happened here. You got below the volume and moved up. But you do need to be careful. There's a very tight consolidation range. It's likely to break big either up or down. So do be careful when trying to trade it. Manage it, use your stops. There's your first level. That's how I would play it. You might have different ideas, but that's my thoughts on it. Next coin, SYN. I just want to double check that to see. SYN. Yep. So for example, you can see I did post in the watch list here. So you can see that this other coin, Diego, it's 4 years of a flat base. Why is this base flat? That's a question that I ask myself. You can see here, obviously, that this was a weaker coin. It was 2023, but even still, it still came to lower lows. Yeah, lower lows. Yeah, it just crossed my mind there, Diego. It's interesting. It's flat. But this is a newer coin, of course, it's 2024. Let's just break it down. Let's zoom out a bit. It's almost red on all time frames here, as you can see. So it becomes risky. Buying into this, you need to have a strategy. It is mostly red here. Ideally, you want to be trading long into green channels. I mean, you can see clearly here if you longed anywhere here, I mean, you could have made some money there. I'm not saying you couldn't have made money here when this was green, but it did reject. But the most money you could have made anywhere here on this entire chart is obviously into this green candle. There's a 300% move into a green candle. Now, again, longing into a red candle is dangerous, so you got to be careful. You got to have a strategy. But here's a breakdown. Currently a breakdown. It could be a stop hunt. It's always easy to say, but what I am going to say is that this is a pretty red, beefy candle. There can be some bounces in this, but there is 1 month and 4 days left in this candle, and it's suggesting that it's a pretty beefy candle so far. There could be more of a wick in it, okay? But you just do need to be careful when that happens. Uh, this is a pretty good example because you get the red beefy candle and then you get the small green candle. A red beefy candle and a small green candle. When did the real move come? The real move came on a new quarterly candle. Okay, so it kind of is suggesting that there's a real possibility that if it's going to get a real move, that it may be on a new candle, right? But also look at the wick down here to come down and take liquidity on the previous candle. Uh, is it better to buy here, right, at the top of this green candle, or is it better to buy on the dip on a new quarter and taking liquidity, giving you a better entry point, and also less time having your money tied up, but also less emotional stress of you being in a loss of price dropping? Okay, so you have to take all of those factors into consideration. I don't know how much of a dip there is there if you bought there. Well, it's a 22% dip. Okay, it's not huge. It depends on your risk management and your stress levels, your management levels of your entry, how much you put on it, your risk management, your money management. But let's continue to break it down. Okay, there's an interesting one. This is still red on the quarter. I like this dip actually. I have to say that it's not bad, right? But what it's suggesting is there's 4 days left in the month, and it is suggesting to probably look to potentially buy on a new month. There's no real need to FOMO with 4 days left into the bottom of this red candle. I would probably watch for a bullish monthly stop hunt on a new month, at least before I would buy it. Right? If there's a monthly bullish stop on, well, you could look to buy that, and then you understand, your risk. What's interesting about it is that there's already a bullish candle here suggesting that there may be a trend reversal. So this might be the first candle in a trend reversal, and this is the dip to take liquidity, and then eventually price may try and move back up. But at the moment, I don't see any reason to FOMO into the bottom of this red candle. Could there be a bounce into the end of the month? Yes, sure. There usually is. I don't know your time frame. You didn't say. Uh, you didn't tell me. Are you short term, long term? Uh, yeah, you didn't say short term or long term. I don't know if you're scalping this or long term. I probably should have thought about that before I made the video. But anyway, if you're very short term, there may be a bit of a bounce into the end of the month, right? I'm not saying there's not, but you can see there's wicks, 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 wicks. Not much wick. But uh, this situation here is kind of like this situation and this situation is pretty similar. So, if you see a small bounce on a new month and then flip red again, well, be careful in case something like this happens. Okay, in case it continues lower. These are shit coins, and if there's not enough money flow into the market, these can go lower, of course. Anyway, mate, yeah, 12 minutes. I'll cut this off here. Any more questions, just let me know, and I hope you're well.